During an annual review, there are two things to expect. One is that your boss is on top of it and knows exactly what you're doing and gives you a really detailed evaluation, which is sort of the ideal. The other is the boss says, well, why don't you write it up for me and then I'll review it and then we'll kind of talk about it. And that's a plus for sometimes for workers, because then you can really put all the stuff in there that you've done, all the projects, all the successes you've had, the accomplishments, anything else you've done. The other thing you can expect is feedback. You have to take that with a grain of salt and say, well, thank you very much for that feedback, and then maybe talk about scheduling a follow-up meeting so you can have time to kind of reflect on it, and then come back and say, well, here's how I'm going to work on that and fix it for the next time. So asking for a raise during an annual review depends on whether the review is positive or negative. Now, assuming it's positive, then it leads right into asking for a raise. And if not asking for a raise, if you've already had the review and no raise is forthcoming, you're probably not going to get it at that point in time. But what you're trying to do is lay the foundation for it. So you say, well, this is great. I'm on this good trajectory. I want to continue that way. And I want to keep contributing to the company. I think we all react negatively to criticism. And so if you get that kind of feedback during your annual review, it's really hard not to either withdraw into yourself or to get sulky, or sometimes even say something negative back to the boss, like, well, you're not such a great boss either. And of course, you don't want to do these things. So what you want to do is accept it all, listen to it, but don't also fight it. I mean, sometimes criticism is there for a reason. Someone said there's no such thing as bad criticism. Well, I don't believe that, because sometimes people can be mean. But a boss isn't trying to be that. A boss is trying to say, here's some things you need to work on. So the best thing you can do is say, thank you for this feedback. Can I reflect on it? And set a meeting maybe in a week or something like that, so then we can come back and talk about how I can improve, so the next time we have a meeting like this, you won't be saying any of these negative things, and we'll be focusing more on the positive. So that's the key thing. So your next steps after your performance review depends on how it went. So if you got positive feedback, but no salary increase or promotion, and the boss made it seem like there wasn't going to be anything in the future, then you have to say, what are my options? Do I want to keep working here at this salary, or do I want to start looking at maybe some other job opportunities outside of this company? Second one is, if you got a good review and the boss is open to a salary increase down the line, then work at setting a time for that, a date for that, and then work on building a portfolio that you can bring to that meeting that says, again, here's the evidence, here's why I deserve it. Partly too, because the boss might need to take it to his or her boss, and so if they have that evidence, man, it just furthers your case. And then finally, if it was a bad review, obviously no raise, then you need to think about, again, next steps. Can you recuperate at this employer? Or are you so tainted, was it such a review where the boss didn't even seem like you could recover? In that case, again, probably your best alternative might be a fresh start with a new employer.